that's the frequency doing that. That's the frequency.
That's true.
Yeah, so that's when we fully acknowledge and understand what the true knowledge is itself, then we continue to grow in that knowledge, and that knowledge is why the moral compass inside of that give us so much truth. As long as we can sit in silence, quietness, it's going to give us the information. But if we can find no silence, quietness inside, we're always in that noise, meaning to say you're always in that mind chatting, in your thoughts. You can't be silent. You can't practice any good. You're not going to get the result that comes with it. You know? And we have to realize the goodness that comes with it is from within us. It's not to contaminate it. Because a lot of the vessels that's giving you the message, they are contaminated. It's like somebody give you a glass of water, but the glass is dirty. The water going to be contaminated. Most of the vessels out here who's carrying the message, they are contaminated. So they're not going to give you accurate information. Because the mind is already in the wrong place.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? When these words that we use haphazardly every day, I look at words, so the etymology of the word, right? The word, where it came from, the root of the word, right? The reason why it was in the first place. So there are several different ways to approach things, right? So each word has, a lot of words have a prefix and suffix. And then you have the denotative meaning of the word, which is the dictionary meaning, the connotative meaning of the word, in the way the word is used in context. So if I say, I want to have an audience, with fire, well, that means I want to sit down and have a conversation with fire. But if you denotatively look at the word audience, it's like a group of people sitting, receiving instructions for whatever. But the context in which I use the word meant I want to sit down and have a discussion with fire. Then there's also phonics, how the words sound. So whenever I look at wisdom, for example, when the word dom, it's D-O-M, is used as a suffix, it means judgment. But if you precede it with wise judgment, that's what wisdom is. And you talk about judgment every day, fine, that you have to make wise judgment, wise decision to navigate through through the morals, through the moral compass. So that's where that comes from. So it's important that when we use these words, we have to understand the etymology of the word, the prefix and the suffix, group it together to get the overall meaning of that word.
I agree, man.
Yes.
I agree, and I do not condone drinking alcohol, but I have experienced it in my culture, and I've embraced it. And I understood my body at a very young age of, I've never experienced being actually drunk, but I had the experience of feeling the buzz that came from, those buds, those grapes, those buds of grapes, or, I've experienced drinking beer also, but it does create, and we're attracted to everything, right? And I always say, like, we were created to be addicted, to be addictive. We loved creation. We loved tending the garden. We loved protecting the animals. And now that things have been blessed and cursed, it goes to that one's awareness of themselves. He say, study thyself, judge thyself. So what may work for you, for this other man, and Apostle Paul spoke about it too, it goes down to diets. Like personally me, I've been eating nuts and eating fruits, but I can't go around and say, oh, if you don't eat nuts and fruits, you're not on the diet of God. That's wrong.
Well, no, I wouldn't say it is wrong, because the truth is the truth. When you're speaking the truth, you can't be biased. You're not supposed to eat unhealthy, and that's what. And even the doctor nowadays, the people that force you to eat the unhealthy thing, they will tell you it's not And they got so much accurate information at this point. Even neuroscience at this point in time you're not supposed to put certain things in your body. It messes your magnetic energy field.
You're right, my king. And then that's when I go back to what you teach. You teach morality. And those things eventually come. But just like a seed that's planted, that it don't come overnight. So it's about being sensitive to one's growth, sensitive to the one who is drinking wine or who is not. The truth is, that's the ultimate goal. That's morality. But
yeah, morality is not to be sensitive, it's to show empathy, have sympathy. But can't have empathy and sympathy in the wrong way now.
That's true too.
You gotta be in everything you're doing, you gotta be just. Everything you do, you gotta be just. The morality is not favorism of people, or it's not respect of person. It's a divine energy. And that's what it is. And if somebody going against it, because you're going to speak the truth, that person shouldn't take offense to it. That person should take time out and look within them, realize, you know what I'm doing is going against the moral code. I'm not the one who said you shouldn't do it. The moral is saying that. What I realize is for a lot of people, they might, when somebody's speaking, they're going to say, you saying that. No, the moral say that, and the person is just repeating what the moral said.
Yeah, I had an interpretation by my brother. I remember one time I believe I called him. I don't speak to my family. Well, they don't speak to me. And but I was speaking to my brother this time, and he was like, Aluj, remember, you need to have a sober mind. And I said, yes, you're right. And he was like, I'm not talking about smoking or drinking. He said, I'm talking about clarity. You need to have clarity on who you are and what you're actually doing. See, it is deeper meaning. And with wisdom, you have to draw it out. It's not something that you just read and say, oh, well, this is what it means. It's a constant meditation. And that's why I look forward to.
But it's a balance also now. That's where the balance, what you do on one side, you do on the other side now.
You're right.
So if you're going to be sober in your thoughts, you're going to be sober in your physical also now. Because a drunk mind can't be sober now. In the thoughts now, it's not going to work.
Well,
because for that mind to be drunk, then it already if it pineal gland. The alcohol now mess, the wine, whatever they choose to call it, mess with your pineal glands. Okay. Anything that is unbalanced is mess with your energy frequency.
Well, you're right, Fire. That's why.
So we got to also, they didn't teach people, a lot of people didn't grow for, a lot of people didn't grow for a lot of magnetism. Reasoning. A lot of energy field reasoning. You see, most people just go with spirit argument because that word spirit take away. Most people talk about spirit. They don't really realize before the word spirit came about energy. In real biblical time, there was no such word as spirit. You never hear somebody walk in a room and say, that spirit don't feel good. You ever say that? You always hear somebody say that energy don't feel good, that vibration, that vibes in here don't feel good. Yes. So why people hold on to spirit so strong?
That's why I like to use the terms. I mean, I'm not telling anybody else how they should get on with their journey, but for my journey, I like to use energy, frequency, and vibration. Those are the ones that resonates with me. We are energy.
You're not telling them, but I will tell them.
Yeah. Hey, that's why you're here.
I'm agreeing with you. You don't tell them, but I will tell them for you. Don't worry, I'll tell them for you.
Personally, me, brother, I do use spirits. I come in a room and I call them out because that's what I was taught. You know, I speak it out loud too. I looked at people in my lifetime and told them, get behind me, Satan, because I knew what took took hold of them. I know that the serpent or the serpent moves as a devouring lion, ready to seek its prey. But is it actual a lion? No, it's a spirit. It's a prey.
Well, I mean, I don't get caught up in a lot of the labeling, right? Because I used to be very, very intimate with Christianity, religion, and to your point, I studied the Quran also. I was on this journey because I thought I would find truth in religion, and of course there were nuggets of truth here and there. But the reality is everything came from within. So what I realized is that a lot of times people who divorce themselves from religion, right, they get out the smaller box of religion, put themselves in a bigger box and call it spirituality. So they will say, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. Not realizing that it's just a bigger box. You see, so that's why I don't get engaged in these labelings and stuff. I am on a journey to remembrance. And what am I remembering? Who I am. Right? Because the veil of forgetfulness have been placed over my eyes. Whether I chose this veil or I was deceived into embracing this veil, that veil of forgetfulness was placed over my eyes, and everything I did was based upon that veil of forgetfulness. And then when I was connected to the source, who I am, I realized, wait a second, it's not about rising and growing to anything. It's about remembering what I've always been.
That's true. Hey, I just got my book as well.
That's all it is.
I look forward to studying and showing myself that I've proved through the words that is spoken through you. It's kind of like another book of the Bible to me, a piece of the Bible. So I look forward. I really do. I'm excited.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's the journey we're on. You see, the knowledge within us, just like he's saying right now, my brother's saying, we're not looking to rise. We're not going to rise to some. I don't know why people, they think that the sun does, they say people say the sun set and the sun rise. The sun just moved to one place because right now, you see, in Australia is daylight in Australia and it's night over here. So the sun moved from here and it go to Australia. So the knowledge is already within I and I. So when we go within, and some people say they get download, but we're going to get an upload. The information reveals our mind, and then we find it and we realize, okay, confirmation is what we get a lot. Anybody who overstand it, they know they're getting confirmation. The information inside of us, you pick up a book and it gives you confirmation and say, yo, my mind been telling me that. Information. You know what I'm saying? So like the brother's saying, it's not wake up to nothing. It's just you getting what is already inside. You're getting in touch with the knowledge.
Right. I have this little story I told. Maybe I've said it already here on here before, but it's a little allegorical story, I guess. An eagle, a baby eagle, fell out of a nest, and it fell on the ground, and it was raised by chickens. Right. So now, because it was raised by chickens, the eagle, it still has the DNA of an eagle, so it grew to be a majestic-looking bird, but it never flew because it was raised by chickens and it was conditioned to think and be and walk and operate as a chicken. So one day they were walking through the forest, and the eagle, it preys on other animals. So there were animals that would be prey to the eagle. They got shook and they were frightened. They stood, and the eagle said, "Well, don't be afraid. I'm not going to hurt you." And the animals was concerned. So they asked him, "Do you not know who you are?" And he was like, "I'm a chicken." It was like, "No, you're an eagle." It was like, "Yeah, you're supposed to be up there soaring." So it still maintained all of the characteristics of an eagle, but the veil of illusion was placed over its face to make it think that it was a chicken. And so it was walking around with chicken. And it's in the best interest of the chicken to keep the eagle thinking it's a chicken, because the moment the eagle realized that it's not a chicken and it's an eagle, the chicken becomes food for the eagle. So you see, the point is, we are. So
we think it's a joke.
Exactly, right? And so when I said a journey earlier, and that's why the reason why I mentioned yesterday about the duality is because I wanted to show just how very important the moral compass is. Because on my journey to remembrance, the moral compass is what I brush up against to keep my foot sure. That's why it's so important. Right, because without the moral compass, I will be all over the place. The moral compass is the guide that whenever I go too far left, it say, hey, come back here. Go too far right. You deviate. So it keeps me on the track.
It feels so good too.
That rod and that staff that protects me and guide me, even though I'm walking through the valley of the shadow of death.
And I fear no evil.
Never.
Yep, because I'm telling you, no, you're not lying. Speak to me like that. Same way. I'm doing something that anytime I'm a step off, you're gonna be like, don't even try that. Don't even play with it. So that's why they say when you have no noise in your head, you hear that voice clear. It's not to confuse your mind. You see, it only gives you clarity. It don't like ego and make you feel like you are something you're not. It make you become who you are, acceptance. You see? And it gives you that, it don't give you no proudful energy, no boastful, no arrogant. It don't allow you to go that path. You see? And it gives us that true sense of who we are. So then you realize you don't search for validation no more. Because you are the validation now. Because it comes from within you. You see?
I used to always
and that's how
that those things be sorcery, but we are the source. So instead of using the sources, we have to use ourselves first. We have to understand ourselves first. So, I do believe in that moral compass. My brother Light, the voice of I seen Light, so I called you Light, but the voice of, my brother, you're right. That moral compass within, the kingdom within, the wisdom, the knowledge. It's also called the Holy Spirit or the holy morality, the holy morals. It's a natural thing.
Yes. Because regardless what, it gives you power to overcome anything. Any substance you addicted to, it gives you the power to overcome it. You see, that's how powerful when you really engage with that moral and you accept the moral for what the moral is. That moral gives you the true strength, man. It don't fail you, don't let you down. When you got to speak, the moral going to tell you exactly what to say and how to say it. You know what I'm saying? So that power is from within, but it connects to something that's higher than I and I. When we recognize it, then we realize there's something higher than I and I. Nobody can tell me there's nothing higher than I and I, because I can see it, I can feel it. You see, and I will stand it deep from within. You see, and when you connect to it, it gives you the true understanding. You know what I'm saying? Because the fact that there's a lot we still hasn't know yet. We don't know what make our toenails, what our skin, what make our blood, what make our hair, what make our bones, what make the air we inhaling, what create the sun, what make the dirt, what make the water, what make the tree. There's so much information we still lacking. You see? So if we think we are higher than the creation, you see, who create the creation, then we're not going to really get to know much information. Then we stop our mind from growing and accepting, I didn't create the air. I didn't create the sun. I didn't create the moon. I didn't create the stars. But I'm a universe that has it. And is also connected with what I have going on inside of me. You see? And the more we understand that.
See, now I don't agree with that part there. I agree with everything else that was being said. But we created all things, seen and unseen. Because we are the gods of creation. There's no other gods besides us. Everything that you read that tells you about God, tells you that that God is us. But we want to make it outside of us. That spirit, that energy that everyone speaks of, that's us. We are that energy. That energy comes with good and evil, light and darkness, male and female. It's up to us to renew our minds to think like God's, the true God's, the creator of all. The God that created all is a God of love. That is what we are. But he gave us the opportunity to choose which God we want to be. A God of love or a God of hate. He gave us the opportunity to choose life over death. Love brings life. Everything outside of love, opposite of love, leads to death. But you must remember that that God that created this universe is the same God in you and me, us. These bodies are the temple that hold that God in them. And he has given you the opportunity to rise to your higher self, to become like him. And becoming like him, you become a son or daughter of God. Because all of God's children walk and talk and think as God. They are the splitting image and likeness of their parents, of their creator. God is male and female. Female energy being first in all things and also last. Because all life comes from her, through her. People talk about heaven, not realizing that she is heaven. And since they fight against heaven, they have no peace. Heaven, they say, is a state of mind. But I say heaven is the black woman. For my heaven is between the legs of a black woman. That is where my peace is. For there, all worries are gone. And the reason I feel that way is because it's like water. I'm just like water. That's why the book, when it refers to water, it refers to a good water, righteous water. I'm that water. And I'm always seeking to go back to the source from which I came. Water is always seeking to go back from which it came, never stops. That's me. I can only stop when I get back to that from which I came from. And I came from the womb of woman. So I came from woman. So I'm always seeking to go back to woman and be a part of that which I come from. And if you're not seeking that which you come from, what are you seeking? And if you're seeking to abuse that which you come from, then you're seeking it for evil purposes, and therefore that will lead to destruction. Because it's not good to go against your creator. Think about it. God is us. So when we go against one another, we go against the body of God, which is also us. It's us who choose to live as God. It's not a choice. It's not about anything that you do. You couldn't be God if you wanted to. The reason you are God is because God chose you to be a light, to be an example of Him and her, to be an example of righteousness to an evil, dark world, of people who walk in the opposite of love, of people who walk in hate, deceit, murder. You are to be a light unto the world. You are to be a way of life for the world to see. Life comes from love. So it would take you to grow into that love, to become all that love is. It would take you to renew your mind and not see this world as a place of enjoyment, but to see the world as a place of learning, of things not to be, of things to stay away from. Because you have to let go of the world, all of the world. You have to renew your mind, all of your mind. That's why the scriptures tell you to let all things become new, not some. You can't hold on to this world and get God, not the God of righteousness. Because the God of righteousness and this evil world has nothing in common. They cannot walk together. And if ye are of God, you cannot walk with them. So therefore, you do not go the places that they go. You do not seek the things that they seek. But you seek things which are much higher than theirs. Your thoughts are higher, so you seek that which is higher. You seek the things which are good. You seek the things which are holy, the things which are pure. You seek the things which come from love, because love is the only thing that is pure. Love is the only thing that is holy. Love is the only key out of the hell that you're in. To walk opposite of love is to walk in hell. So you must rise from that state. Hell is a state of mind. It's a state that you dwell in. You create the hell that you lay in. And you can stop that hell. You can let that hell go that you're laying in when you desire to do that which is right. No one forces you to do the things of the world. No one forces you to live like the world. True enough, you've been taught the things of the world. But even though you've been taught the world, the righteous things of your Creator is in you. That love of your Creator is in you because you were created out of love. God loved Himself enough to put Himself in the body. It's not you. You are only God. Now that you know you are God, it is up to you to become the God that you know you are to be. Show us which God you are. Whether you're a God of righteousness and truth or a God of lies and deceit and death. Whether you're a God of life, that life-giving spirit, that characteristic, that energy, that character that speaks life into existence. It speaks life because it is life. And that which is life do not speak that which is death, but it steers you away from death. See, love corrects and improves us. And there's only a fool that do not want to be corrected. But a wise man take it and eat of it and grow in it and become even greater than what he was. It's about going into the ninth heavens. The ninth heavens is where you become an Elohim, a true Elohim, a supreme Elohim. Listen, let's quit playing. You're using words, and all these words have different meanings behind them. But the bottom line is they all speak about you. The books speak about you. You just have to see yourself in the book. And if you're not living the way you're supposed to, if you see that you're not, then go within, meditate, and find the true you and become that love. That's what I ask you to do. Because I can't save you. Only you can save you. And you can only save you by becoming love. Everything else leads to death. You think I'm lying? Test me and see if I'm not true. Hey, peace.